Welcome back, everyone. This is Mondo All Day, back with another video. And in this video, we'll be taking a look at the Nightwing Gold Label Walmart exclusive. This is going to be Nightwing from the DC vs. Vampire storyline. As always, I'll be talking about the figure itself in terms of the articulation, sculpture, and paint, and if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the box. This side, the back, the other side, top, and bottom. Alright, now let's take a look at the figure outside the box. As always, they do come with a card. The front of the card looks like for Nightwing. The back of the card. It does come with accessories. So here is his left trigger hand. Nice blue paint on there, like a dark blue. Not really trigger, it's more like a hold the weapon kind of hand pose. And that's pretty much it in terms of like the hand accessories. I wish it did come with like your right hand claw-like type of hand. That'd be pretty cool because, well, he's a vampire. And of course, he does come with his batons, which I know he has a specific name for them. I don't remember what they're called, but there they are. There's two of them. And it does come with a heart. Little cool little detail on it. Little heart. And a regular puck stand. Now let's do the articulation on this figure. So head, left, right, up, down. Shoulder articulation. Bicep. Elbow. Wrist. Torso. Swivel. And then we'll do the leg articulation. So leg, knees, ankles, and of course toes as well. So overall, the articulation on this figure is actually pretty good overall. Now let's talk about the figure, and I gotta say right away, this headpiece, this is top notch. I mean, you got the painted eyes with the red outline a little bit. Then you got the black shadowing. And of course, a little mask for Nightwing. That's blue on there. And then you got that creamy skin that's all ripped up. And then you got the teeth on there, which just looks menacing. And then the blood here. Blood, little splatter on here on this right cheek or jaw. On the lips as well, too. This is a good looking vampires DC Multiverse Nightwing. The only problem is going to be the skin tone paint. It's not bad, I just wish this was more similar to the other ones, which I'll compare it in a bit so you can see what I mean. But this particular one, in terms of the skin tone for a vampire, it's a little darker than the Damien, which again I'll talk about it in a bit. I'll show you actually in a bit, but I gotta say the skin tone, it's a little darker, but I wish it was more of the other ones, like the gray ones. And then you have here the hair style, nice clean looking hair, right? You got blue, a little bit of black. Looks nice, very stylized hair. But the headpiece, though, the headpiece, it is a good looking Nightwing headpiece. Very, very detailed in terms of the skin. You can see right here what I mean. The skin that's kind of ripping. It looks all like deformed and everything. Also, the forehead, you can see right here what I mean. Like all that weird design to it. It looks really good. So this headpiece looks really, really, really nice. And then you have here the body itself. It is going to be a reuse from the previous one, from what I can tell, which I'll compare it to a previous one. You'll see what I mean. But you have here the shoulder. You got that blue little arm here on the shoulder. Kind of goes with the actual Nightwing logo. Then you got here on the bicep, right, a little bit of design there. The forearm has this weird type of thing. I don't know what it's called. Then you have here the hands. The hands do have that kind of crawl like kind of hand, see what I mean? I wish it came with a right hand, that'd be kind of cool, but it doesn't. It's all good though. But there you go, blue on there, dark blue. And the other side's gonna be identical to this side, right? That little piece right here, little design here on the bicep, same thing on the forearm, and this one's gonna have the trigger hand, and again, same blue on there. Then you have here the upper body, or the chest, I should say. This is a very typical spandex-like Nightwing. It's nothing bad or anything, not much to it in terms of the detail or design. You got the Nightwing logo, which is a dark blue compared to the previous one. They've been like light blue. Then you got some blood splatter on here, and I do like how the blood splatter, it is a bit glossy, so it makes it shine just a little bit, not a whole lot, but you can see what I mean right there, like that. And then the back, you can put the actual batons on there, pretty straightforward, right? Put that on there. So the sides also have here a little of a design right there on the side. You can see that, right? And so overall, I gotta say the upper body on this figure, it's good overall. The headpiece itself is really nice, but I wish the skin tone paint, it was that more dark grayish look, because I think having a dark gray, it makes all the little detail pop more. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, but when you see the other ones, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, now I get what Mondo's saying. So, but apart from that though, I gotta say the figure itself in terms of the upper body, it looks good. Again, it's a very spandex-like Nightwing, so there's not much to it. There's not a lot of detail to it. There is some, but not a whole lot. But this one's going to have more of a dark blue type of paint on the Nightwing logo. Does he do squats? He should, because it's Nightwing, so he does somewhat squats, so I'm sure Batgirl is going to be happy about that. Here's the back of the legs. The back of the legs are very slim. Really, though, muscle tone to it. Not compared to the upper body. There's the back of the legs. Little design here, blue, right? Here is the side of the feet. The feet have this weird kind of style on the shoe, on the feet. And there's the side of the boot or the leg. More of that design. Again, that dark blue paint. And here we have the thighs. The inner thigh does have, that's also on the sides. Also present here in the inner thigh, and then this kind of design that's on here on the outside of the thigh is also going to be present here on the bicep. And in terms of the muscle tone, it's not really there. I mean, there's more muscle tone on the upper body, right, the abdomen and so forth, and the chest, but the thighs are just very there. It's just very slim. Not much to it. Then you got the knees, just fine there. And so overall, I gotta say this figure, I like the figure. I mean, again, this is a plain spandex Nightwing comic accurate figure. The big selling point is going to be, of course, a headpiece, because it's going to be from the vampire storyline. And so having this figure in person, I think it looks good. Is it great? In my honest opinion, no. But it looks good. And of course, if you like the whole DC versus vampire storyline, you definitely want to get this, because it's going to be a great addition to the DC Multiverse. And if you read the story, you know the significance of Nightwing, which I'm not going to spoil it, but you know if you read the story. But of course, the main question is it really worth it? Should you go out and get this figure? For the price of $23, for what you're getting, I would say, yeah, I think it's a good looking figure for the price. It's not great or amazing, but I think for what you're getting, it looks good. Regardless of the price, though, what I think about the figure, as I mentioned throughout the video, the body itself, it's going to be reused from a previous one, and it's very clean, plain looking Nightwing. Typical comic accurate spandex Nightwing, but the main selling point is going to be the headpiece, so I like the figure. I'm excited because I wanted to get this particular figure because of the story. I've read the story, I have a link to it, so you can understand more about the story, and getting this character in a DC vs. Vampires, DC Multiverse figure, I'm happy about that. Overall, what do I give this figure? I give it a thumbs up. Again, it's not great or amazing. I think it just looks good. And if you read the story, you know the significance of Nightwing for the DC vs. Vampire storyline. So, thumbs up for me. Here we have Nightwing from the, I believe it's going to be the Titans Build-A-Figure wave for Beast Boy. And of course, Nightwing Gold label. Yes, he is a lot taller, as you can tell. Obviously, is in terms of the body itself, this is not going to be the one that I'm referring to as a reuse. This is a little different. So, if you have this one and you think it's going to be this one's going to be reused from this one, it's not. It's going to be from a different one, which I'll compare it in a bit. But I wanted to show you a different Nightwing figure, and of course, look at that blue. It's a really light blue. This is a lot more darker, as you can tell. And so, out of these two, which one do I prefer? I will go for this one. I do like this whole thing on the arm. I don't know why. Something about it, I just think it looks really cool. I like the storyline on this one, but this right here, something about it just grabs my attention more. Here we have another Nightwing figure. This is going to be Nightwing from the Amazon exclusive Bat Family 5-pack, I believe, or 4-pack. And of course, the gold label Walmart exclusive one. Now, as I mentioned throughout the video, this is a reuse from this one. This is going to be reused from the previous one. So if you have this particular version or the previous one of this one, which I don't have, then again, it's going to be reused. The main difference is going to be the color palette and, of course, the headpiece. Obviously, the big difference, one, the Nightwing logo is painted differently. Dark blue, light blue. Obviously, the blood splatter. But everything else is going to be the same in terms of the detail, right? You can see that here in the arms, little design there. Also present here, same right here. So again, this one is just a reuse of this one. And as I mentioned, this one's going to be reused from the previous one. So there's that. But the big selling point, once again, is going to be the headpiece and a little bit of the blood splatter. So there you go. There you have it. So if you like this particular version of Nightwing, then honestly, definitely get this one. Because at least the color's different. There is some uniqueness to the body, which is just a blood splatter. But more importantly, the headpiece. Here we have another DC vs. Vampires figure. This is going to be Superman. Again, gold label Walmart exclusive. Now, as I mentioned regarding the skin tone paint, right? Well, look at this one right here. Look at that. I'll, do it up close so you can see what I mean, right? Look at that skin tone paint, right? You can see all that detail, right? Look at all that. The skin ripping, right? The holes right here, right? When it's darker, when you have that kind of coloring, it really does pop and you can see a lot more. But then you have this one right here. It's a lot more brighter. You can't really appreciate it. I mean, it's there. The detail is there. But since the bright paint, the skin tone paint, it doesn't really pop. Again, it doesn't look bad. But once you see this one, you can see all that detail. Here, you're like, oh, come on, man. Because if this one had this kind of paint, it would pop even more. This looks good as is. Imagine with that kind of skin tone paint. To me, it definitely look a lot better. But here we have, again, the Superman DC vs. Vampire storyline figure. Here we have another vampire figure. This is going to be Damian Wayne. And again, it's going to be the Walmart exclusive. Now, skin tone paint, as I said. The Superman one, a lot more darker. You can see more detail. This is in the middle. This one is just really, really, really bright. So you can't see the detail. It's somewhat there on this particular version of Vampire, but it's just kind of like, you know what I mean? It's not bad. It's just kind of like, it looks cool, but you just want something more. And so, I'll do a comparison of these two next to each other so you can see the skin tone. Right? There you go. See that? A lot brighter, a little bit more darker, but then when you have that Superman one, as I've shown, it's a lot darker and you can see more of that detail. So I prefer more of the darker grayish kind of skin tone paint compared to the brighter one. So, to each their own, but that's just me though. Here we have the one and only Hal Jordan, or Green Lantern vampire figure next to Nightwing. In my honest opinion, probably the best one. The body itself, it's going to be reused from the Hal Jordan one. But the paint's going to be a little different, right, in terms of the base paint. This is more like a dark green. This is more like a faded out kind of white paint, but the main selling point is gonna be the headpiece. Because look at this, right? Look at all that detail, right? Look at that green paint there on the side, the eyes, the mouth, the lips, right? It is definitely worth the purchase price for this one. Then you have this one. It looks cool, but it's just kind of, right? And then perfectly right here, look at the skin tone paint, right? Gray, but you can see more of that detail. This one's a lighter, but you can't really appreciate and see the detail. It's a missed opportunity. Like, I like more of this. When you have this kind of color paint, it pops more. You can see more of the detail. But it's all good, though. Out of all the vampires one, to me, the best one is going to be the Green Lantern. Because I'm telling you, when you see this in person, especially the headpiece, you're going to want probably two of them. One to open, one to keep for collection. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this figure? Do you plan on purchasing this figure? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of Nightwing, the Walmart exclusive gold label figure from the DC vs. Vampire storyline. And on to the next one.